Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Midstate 48, presented by Miracle Auto Group. Chris Brooks here with you on this Wednesday evening, and I'm going to bring in the rest of the guys. Joe, Cam, Scott. Let's get after it, fellas. How we doing?
Doing all right.
Yep. Better than the Braves at this point.
Ooh,
Sorry, Cam.
you don't need to start the show off on a bad note, Scott. Come on now.
Yeah, we need to change subjects.
Yeah, well, you gonna get him fired up, and then this thing will get off the rails. And
God, I can't wait for
That's-
Tennessee, Kentucky week.
I won't be able to say it.
I can't either because it'll be another butt whooping like the other 35 years.
Oh, I'm an agent of chaos.
You started this, Scott. Now help me save it.
All right, get on back on the rails there, Chris.
Guys, we're officially halfway home to gold balls this year.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's extremely wild. That's but I mean that's the way life goes, right? I tell you when you're young that enjoy it while you can, and that's pretty factual.
Yeah, I'll tell you that's true.
Yeah. And we're kind of in the middle of that 2-week fall break stretch where a lot of teams are off, and the schedule's pretty short, and this week is no exception. I think I counted 26 games involving area teams this week, and it's a light schedule that we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's also Mr. Football season, as you know. We start seeing teams campaign for their players to get nominated for that award. And Joe, and you had a piece on our website Monday about several players, 30 to be exact, that we thought ought to be up for those awards. Let's talk about them for just a few minutes.
Yeah, it's just it was a loaded list. I mean, we probably could have done 45, 50 when you really think about it. I mean, just a ton of talent here in the Midstate with the every class, and I tried to limit it to where we had one. We didn't do double. Like I think in 4A we had 2 kids from Pearl Cone. Well, Pearl Cone's just loaded. Their offense is one of the best in the state, and their defense was one of the best in the state. And they're very realistically, I could see both those guys being finalists. So tried to do one from certain teams that are really standing out, and they've had some standout guys. And I think we put together a pretty good list.
Yeah, I mean easily if you wanted to double it, I mean you had to cut it off somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And and it was tough because I remember Joe, as he was sitting there and he kept going back and forth, and we were discussing, and I think that your list is pretty solid.
Yeah, and then when we, if players that you're thinking of as fans were not on the list, it's probably because we've not seen their numbers. And for instance, we were able to get numbers from a couple teams and actually wound up going with a different player from a team that we were going to go with someone else. Prime example, Tyler Travers at Mount Juliet has put up great numbers, but when you look at the pure dominance that Atticus has been able to do on the defensive line, we had to go with him, and we wanted to bring recognition to him. And I know I've always said it. All of us here at 615 really pride ourselves on trying to find the best football players. We don't try to find the best quarterback stats or the best running back stats. Unfortunately, this award, since they've took the Lineman of the Year away, the Lineman Award away, it's pretty much been a quarterback and a running back award for the most part, which is unfortunate. But all of us here at 615 want to recognize those guys up front, like John Wayne Oliver and like Ethan Utley, and some of those guys that are in the trenches and really, truthfully, what makes their team go. So
doing the dirty work.
Yeah. It's just really hard to quantify a position like that since there aren't there aren't as many measurable stats, and they're not as easy to come by. But that being said, you try to look at a football team as a whole, a season as a whole, and try to find the ones that are best representative of what Mr. Football should be. And I think that like I said, I think Joe did a phenomenal job putting that list together. if nothing else, it makes for great talking points.
Are there, for you guys, when we talked about this and we saw the list, obviously we don't know who's going to win or be nominated, but for you guys, I mean, I guess I'll ask a question here. Who was a name maybe that you saw in there where you're like, yes, that guy should be a front runner, and right now I think he would probably win it? Is there anybody on the list like that for you?
Real easy. Dominic Reed.
Yeah.
Centennial. I mean, that dude is having a great year. Offense, defense, special teams, does everything for the Cougars. I definitely think he's the favorite in 5A right now.
Tyson Walcott. It's just due to the fact that he does so much on both sides of the ball, and he has put up just incredible, phenomenal numbers. But he encompasses, I think, everything that the award should be about. Just grit, toughness, and performance.
Yeah, Ty Clark for me. I mean, the way FRA has started this season, I mean, it's really gone a lot through him, and he's going to have a couple of more opportunities to add to those impressive numbers, and he really should have been up for this last year, and I think he's kind of making up for that right now. That D2A is kind of, you mentioned Elijah Robert, Pope Prep, John Wayne Oliver, CPA, Knox Roberts, Davidson Academy, but Ty Clark has been, I think, the best player of that bunch, and that's the reason why they're 8-0 right now. One problem I have with the award is that the nominations are due generally the Friday of week 11.
Yeah,
that's kind of unfair because you can't even get, if you're playing on Friday night in week 11, that game essentially doesn't count for anything for the nominations because they've got to be in around 5 o'clock. If you're playing on Thursday, it's going to count for you. But go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. And that's even important this year, and I hope I'm not stepping all over your point. But that's even more critical this year because TSSAA has set the schedules to be for the toughest game that most teams play to be on that week 11.
Yeah. I hope they move it to the Monday following week 11.
Yeah,
I hope they do. I don't think they will, but I hope they do because it's not fair to the teams playing on that Friday, especially the way they've scheduled this year, to not allow those stats to be considered because you never know when you have a player that might put themselves over the top and get in that discussion. I mean, let's say
two names right off the top. I mean,
Dwayne
Morris at Oakland. He's going up against Riverdale week 11.
Yep.
That's a performance type game that can put you as the Mr. Football winner. Baylor Hayes, Brentwood going against Ravenwood week 11. Same thing.
Braden Graham.
Those are the type of games that if you have a stellar performance can win you that award.
Yeah, Braden Graham was a great one because if he goes out against Oakland and puts up monster numbers and they defeat the defending state champion, automatically that's got to put your name right there, up there.
Yeah. For me, the guy that was to me kind of obvious, I know I put Keyshawn Tarleton on there, and I think he's done an incredible job this year. But Zion Simpson-Smith at Pearl, just a monster. Leading that defense. I think he has close to 60 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss. Pearl's loaded everywhere. That's just how they are. They remind me of the 49ers right now. Every single position they got a guy, but his numbers were crazy to me. And Braden Graham, I agree. Scott, if he goes out there week 11 and they beat Oakland and he only has one interception the entire season, it's hard. It's hard not to say that he's Mr. Football.
Yeah, I mean that's hopefully they'll do the right thing and move the date to Monday to get those nominations in, so we can accurately, let every game matter for because a player can play themselves onto this list with a big week 11.
Yeah,
I mean somebody who may not be necessarily on this list could actually jump in the conversation. I mean, you get a kid that goes for 300 on the ground in week 11 in a big rivalry game and potentially a region winning game. Why not? So that's one thing they got to fix. But it's a heck of a list, and I hope you guys, if you haven't gone to our website 615preps.com to check this out, do so because it's a lot of impressive young men having great seasons and certainly worthy of having the discussion. And even if there was some that are not on the list, again, they can play their way on it. I mean,
Yep.
there's a couple of games left for everybody, so it'll be interesting to see how those last couple of weeks shake out. Now, of course, they'll go from I believe 5 semifinalists to 3 finalists in a couple of weeks into the playoffs, and then those will be announced after the Blue Cross Bowl. I think the Tuesday after the Blue Cross Bowl is when they'll announce those winners. So will be interesting to see how those come out. Now, speaking of great performances, hope you guys like that segue. We're going to our Miracle Auto Group Players of the Week award. And you got 6 up for grabs this week. You've got Isaiah Groves from East Robertson, 181 yards and 2 touchdowns on 21 carries, 3 receptions, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns in that 35-0 win over Charleston County. Hicks Hunter from Sycamore, 329 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns on 28 carries. Sycamore beat Cheatham County 41-15. FRA's Logan Kennard, 8 of 12 passing, 267 yards, 4 touchdowns. FRA beat BGA 61-20. Johnny Silvestri from Brentwood, 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery as the Bruins beat Centennial 28-21 in that battle of unbeaten teams. Briss Trapp from DeKalb County, 15 of 18 passing, 215 yards, 5 touchdowns, 12 carries, 64 yards as DeKalb County defeated Cumberland County 42-10. William Weebush from Page, fumble return for a touchdown, interception return for a touchdown, also ran for a touchdown as Page beat Hillsborough last Thursday night 35-7. Let's take a breath and show you that Briss Trapp got the fans' vote, but we're all over the place in this one. Scott, why don't you tell me about Hicks Hunter for a minute?
I'll tell you what, that stat line was just incredible. And I'll be talking more about Hicks Hunter shortly, I'm sure. But over 300 yards in that game, and a game that they had to have. I just thought that that stat line it just stood out to me.
Joe, it happened right in front of you, so you went with Weebush from Page.
Yeah, if it hadn't happened right in front of me, I probably would have gone with Johnny Silvestri. But I watched Weebush. I think Page would have won that game regardless. They were the better team Friday night. But when you take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you, I mean, he's right there for the fumble recovery. He takes it to the house. He has an interception thrown to him. He takes it to the house. He's got a really bright future on that offense, too. Kid's only a junior, and he's probably going to be their quarterback next year. And boy, is he's fast. Takes a jet sweep to the house. So really impressed by him, but I could have gone with him or Silvestri. I just went with the guy I saw in person.
Cam, you and I both went with Johnny Silvestri.
Yeah, it's real simple. 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and they pretty much needed all of it. I know Centennial scored late to make it a 7-point game, but I know one of those turnovers came inside of the Brentwood 15-yard line. So that's taking points off the board, whichever way you want to look at it. Just a stellar performance in a huge game. And on the road even makes it even a better performance.
Yeah, Joe, I'm like you. It happened right in front of me, and I couldn't help but go ahead and vote for him. Brentwood scored on 3 of those 4 turnovers, too. They had 21 points off those turnovers, and Johnny Silvestri, right place, right time, multiple times in a game that kept the Bruins at 8-0, and he's got 2 votes, and the rest of them have 1. So congratulations to Brentwood's Johnny Silvestri. He's our Miracle Auto Group Player of the Week. I'm not too far up the road, so I'll swing by and bring by some hardware here very, very soon. So congratulations to Johnny. Now on to the Line of the Week award. And the 5 finalists this week, Davidson Academy's defense held Webb School to 76 yards, had 3 sacks, and then Glenn Seabrooks took that big bear paw and ran an interception back for a touchdown for the Bears in their big win over Webb School. East Robertson's offense had 461 yards, 347 on the ground, 114 in the air last Thursday night at beating Charleston County. Macon County's defense held Livingston Academy to 104 total yards and 7 first downs. They had a sack, a fumble recovery, and 7 tackles for a loss in that win. Nolensville's defense held James Lawson to 84 total yards in their shutout win, had 4 sacks and also forced a fumble. And Springfield's defense, 127 yards allowed to Hunter's Lane, had a fumble recovery, 5 sacks, and 7 tackles for a loss. Springfield won that game 14-7. And as always, this is fan voted, so let's see the results. And it's Macon County's defense getting more than 44% of the vote to claim the title this week. So congratulations to the Tigers defense. They're going to have some hard work coming their way as well, Scott.
Yep, I'll be dropping that off as soon as possible.
All right. So congratulations to all the winners this week of our Miracle Auto Group Player of the Week awards. And let's hear now from those fine folks at Miracle Auto Group.
Hi, everyone. It's Jim Galvin, Miracle Ford, your Ford dealer in Gallatin, Tennessee since 1980. Great news beginning now. When you need service, we can come to you.
Our mobile service van comes to you wherever you are. Whether you need oil change, lube, routine maintenance, warranty, filters, wiper blades, batteries, bulbs, recalls, and more.
Visit our website
or call us now.
Are you ready for a miracle?
I was wondering what you were doing there, Scott. It's a slow turn. Dramatic effect before your apology.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. There's the one. All right. Well,
it's his new profile picture.
That's your good side?
No. This is the good side.
Well, as always, we got some picks wrong, and we need to atone for those. And it's time to apologize, guys. Who would like to start out this week?
I'll go. Oh, goodness. Big Red Nation. I'm sorry, guys. Honestly, came into the year looking at Lipscomb Academy's schedule, and I was like, that game right there, that'll be tough. Baylor, McCallie, Innsworth. I didn't include you guys in the group, and I'm a fool for that. Defensively, I should have known you would have had enough to give the Mustangs issues last week, and you took advantage of their offensive woes, and I messed up not picking you. Granted, nobody did. I'm part of the problem, though, and I just want you to know that I'm sorry.
All right. Cam, Scott?
I'll go.
Yeah, mine's real easy. As Joe said, I was a little bit of a homer last week. Had a gut feeling, but as Scott said, maybe I should have just took some Tums. East Robertson. Not only is this an apology, but I also want to say congratulations. And that congratulations is, guys, you seem to have made severe progress in righting the wrongs of your mistake issues with the penalties. Less penalties last week against Strauss County. And as you saw, up for line of the week on offense, but you could have also been up for line of the week on defense. Just a dominant performance. I know there was some drama that happened at halftime, but congratulations on a huge win and proving me wrong and proving me to be a homer. So for that, I apologize, and best of luck to you guys.
They didn't need you picking against them to know that you're a homer, Cam. Come on now.
It's fair play. It's fair play. All right, Scott, you're up next.
Sycamore. What can I say? I was wrong. I honestly did not see that coming. I did not see how tough you would play, that you would beat Cheatham County, and I certainly didn't see Hicks Hunter going off for 5 scores, 300 yards. I was wrong. I have no excuse. I am so very sorry. Hope you can forgive me.
Did you take acting classes in high school?
No.
That's obvious.
I'm
The
just-
chair turn with the corner eye is, yeah.
Yeah.
See, if you really moved in on my eyes, you could see a little tear.
Mm. We sure that's what that was?
No. It's from choking on this drink over here more than anything.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Providence Christian, I owe you an apology. Y'all have had a successful season no matter what happens the rest of the way. 4-4 with 2 games left to play and a chance at a top 3 seed in your first season of 11-man football. Be commended. Really wasn't sure about last week. Like a trap going on the road against Ezel Harding team that was in the same boat. I fell in love with the home team and thought I had seen the light, and it turns out it was nothing more than a freight train coming right for me in the form of you guys. So it's a big win for you. Congratulations. Enjoy the off week and good luck the rest of the way. Again, sorry.
I despise you.
Okay. I'm told we have one more in what has become a rare occurrence, a rare Reggie sighting live on this show. And yeah,
God, he's massive.
This is for Coach Finch and the boys at Brentwood. Reggie is a cat, so he can't verbalize to say he's sorry, nor can he really show that he's sorry. But when he wants to apologize, he does one thing. He brings a present. So for Brentwood, Reggie brings a dead mouse. This is how he apologizes. So, Coach Finch, you will be receiving this dead mouse as a token of Reggie's apology for being wrong.
It's amazing how unbothered he looks.
Yeah, he looked guilty, didn't he?
He's full on.
Job, Coach Finch. You get a dead mouse.
That's how he apologizes. Next thing I know, I've got a mole or a mouse or a bird on the porch. That's how Reggie says he's sorry.
He's a savage.
It's
Well, I mean, something has to die when he's wrong.
oh my goodness. I
I
don't know.
have a feeling that it's probably going to be me now.
He's plotting your demise as we speak, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Actively. Yeah. Oh my goodness. After that, we need to hear more from Miracle Auto Group after all that.
Hi everyone, it's Jim Galvin, Miracle Ford. Great news, beginning now. When you need service, we can come to you.
I think this program is great because as a college student who doesn't have time to go anywhere or do anything, this program really helped me just to get my car worked on. I could stay in work and continue to do my job. It's convenient, it's super quick, not expensive at all, so it's a great program. I really recommend it. Just give it a check out.
Are you ready for a miracle?
You seen this comment, Chris?
Slang even when he's wrong. Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
That's Reggie. It's Reggie 2023. That's what he does.
Of course, I ain't got nothing on Ridge.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, I guess we can go ahead and hit that part of the show where we try to pick all these games and end up looking like fools in the end. It's time for who you got.
Can you pick a
Okay. Let's let the good times roll. I'm gonna go back to these. Yeah. Oh. I didn't want to steal your thunder from I haven't switched screens. So.
Yeah, you did. You can admit it. It's a little jealousy there.
It's still pretty tight at top the top of the league, but Scott does have a 3-game lead on Joe at this point of the year. But we're like I said, we're only halfway home, so still a ways to go.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for me to crash and burn.
It's coming. It's coming.
I have no doubt. I usually you can tell it's halfway point when you start to see the late season swoon.
Reggie, yeah, it's another told you so. He had Knoxville Catholic last week. Scott got his second of the year as well.
Damn cat.
On to the overall board. Yeah. Still 4 games between the 4 of us, and it feels like it's going to come right down to Chattanooga, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. We're doing all right, guys.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. How close to 80%? I mean, my gosh. I couldn't have predicted that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep. Let's do our best to try to get there this week, shall we? It's one final look at week 8. We all missed Ezo Harding against Providence Christian. There's Scott's told you so on Columbia Academy over Nashville Christian, and then Reggie's hit on Knoxville Catholic over Brentwood Academy. We were split on Brentwood and Centennial, and a couple of other misses along the way for everybody, for that matter. So
I still think that beat should have counted as half a loss.
They believe it shouldn't count for anything because I'm sure they're.
Well, they may get another shot at Henry County before it's all said and done.
I hope they do.
On to this week's board. We'll start with Blackman Riverdale. The backyard brawl now becomes the Kreisky Bowl. Reggie is going to side with Blackman. The rest of us are on Riverdale, but you kind of got to feel good about the way Riverdale's playing right now. And we've mentioned Braden Graham and that offense and Brock Montgomery. This is for Riverdale needs to keep pace with Oakland. They'll have to win this game to do it, but it's looking. This could be interesting for them.
Braden, Brock, I need you to prove the cat wrong. No, I think Blackman's kind of still in that rebuild mode. They're really getting things going. I know they've had success off and on this year, but this Riverdale team has just been clicking ever since that loss in Germantown, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Braden Graham's just delivering, and he's just taking a step up from where he was last year. Brock Montgomery's back healthy. Give me a Riverdale by a couple scores.
Yeah, the big thing for me, Riverdale's really been able to get off to fast starts. Even the game against Germantown, they jump up 17-0. I just think that if they get ahead by 2 or 3 scores early, Blackman does not have the firepower that they've had the last couple of years to be able to come back in this game. And ultimately, I think that's sort of what we will see here.
Yeah, Blackman's defense really has been the issue. They've been giving up about 29 points per game, and that does not bode well when you're playing an offense that's explosive as Riverdale. On the other hand, Riverdale has been playing really good defense, just 89 points in 7 games so far. I know that Blackman really needs this game to stay in the race. It's going to put that game against Rockvale as a crucial game if they don't. But I just don't think Riverdale lets this one overlooks this one and lets this one get away.
76.5% of the fans also siding with Riverdale in this one. And again, Reggie's going with Blackman, but the rest of us are on the Warriors in this one. Creekwood at Station Camp. It's one of those key games in Region 5 of Class 4A. These two teams are fighting with White House for that number 3 seed. Station Camp's already beaten White House. Creekwood, can put their name in the hat with a win, but Station Camp can basically all but lock up that 3rd seed when they win this one, guys.
Yeah, I think Station Camp is the better offensive team by a pretty wide margin, and ultimately that's why I went with Station Camp. That does not mean that I think Station Camp's going to win this game large in any way. Creekwood has a very sound defense, but Station Camp, I believe, has a little bit more talent on offense. And I look for the Bison to get it done there at Station Camp this week.
Yeah, Creekwood struggled with good defensive teams this year, and I think Station Camp is a good, sound defensive team. They've been challenged to get points on the board. Station Camp's 2-5, but their 5 losses, I believe, are Beach, Gallatin, Marshall County, Springfield, and Pearl. That's a murderer's row right there. And for now they're hitting the favorable side of their schedule. Truthfully, if they play the way they're capable of, they could finish the season at 500. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Coach Payne has built a physical team, and I really like their running back / linebacker, Sanders Ellis. I think that he's a difference in this game because he is just a physical runner. And then again, Luke Dickens is just elusive as a quarterback. I like Station Camp in this game because I think their offense is that good.
Yeah, I mean everything you guys said, you covered everything. You take away the losses to Pearl Cone and Beach. Every other loss has been by less than 10 points, I believe. So, this is a good Station Camp team. They're playing, like Scott said, a murderer's row. I mean, that schedule's brutal. I think they're the better offensive team, and I think they win this game in pretty convincing fashion on Friday.
70.4% of the fans with the Bison as well up there in Gallatin for that one this week. Speaking of Gallatin, they're on the road at Wilson Central. We're all on the green wave all the way around. This is an elimination game for Wilson Central. If they lose this game, they're out. They cannot get into the playoffs if they drop this game to Gallatin. So this is the last stand for them. But Gallatin trying to recover after that inexplicable loss to Cookeville a couple weeks ago.
Really, in my opinion, guys, this is an elimination game for both teams. Because with Gallatin's loss to Cookeville, what that's done is open the door for Cookeville. Gallatin needs this game, and honestly, they may wind up having to have that Lebanon game as well. But Gallatin coming off that loss to Cookeville and a bye week last week, thanks to fall break, I look for the Green Wave to get it rolling. I feel like, they come off of one of the program's biggest wins in a while over Green Hill and kind of had a letdown. And what a good time for a bye week to try to get the kids refocused. And I think they'll come out refocused and ready to go in this game.
Yeah, 4 straight losses for Wilson Central since they started the season 3-0. 3 of those losses have been by double figures. Not exactly what you want to see going against the Gallatin team. Like Chris said, coming off that loss that I don't think any of us saw coming to Cookeville. I think the Green Wave get it going. I think Jackson Sharp has a pretty big night, and Gallatin rolls.
Gallatin's problem with Cookeville was turnovers, and I think that is something that Coach Strop will address. I think Cam is right. I think part of that has to do with how high they got after knocking off Green Hill the week before. Had a competitive game against Cookeville get away from them due to mistakes likely caused by trying to force things instead of letting them come to them. But yeah, this I don't think this is a trap game because of that. I think that had Gallatin beaten Cookeville, Wilson Central might have been that trap game. But I honestly believe that Gallatin's going to come into this one focused. I don't think they're going to allow Wilson Central to run the ball, which is what they love to do. I think that they get up early, and if they do, then it'll be hard for the Wildcats to keep pace.
Yeah, Chris Boyd, middle linebacker for Gallatin, will have a big night there. Be hard to miss him. He is. We talk about Zakian Brinkley, the running back, being a little bit of an odd weight and size for a running back, but Chris Boyd, I believe he's listed at like 5'11", 6 foot, and like 300 pounds. And he plays linebacker, and he can run, and he's also their leading tackler. So that's somebody to keep an eye on in this one as well.
71.6% of the fans with the Green Wave, and the rest of us also in Gallatin as well. Nashville Christian at Fayetteville, and the battle lines are drawn clearly here, but this was a game on paper that looked a lot better at the start of the season, but both teams have underachieved so far, and now they come into this matchup with some questions on both sides. Nashville Christian's defense and Fayetteville's trying to find some identity as well. We're split there. Cam and I are with Nashville Christian along with the fans, and Scott, Joe, and Reggie, you're taking Fayetteville here.
Yeah, Fayetteville's not a bad defensive team. They've only allowed 14 points per game or so. They also played a murderous schedule early. They got a really good quarterback, Sam Willoughby, 66% passer, 177 yards per game passing. He's also the team's leading rusher. So when he's not rushing, he's usually Kevin Henderson, excuse me. I just feel like ever since Jared Curtis has gotten back, the offense has gotten well, but I don't think the defense is quite has quite where they need to be. Giving up 28 points per game, and they gave up something like they gave up 334 yards on the ground to Grace. They gave up 213 to Columbia Academy. I think defense is where Nashville Christian is lacking. I think that Fayetteville gets it done.
I agree with what you said about Nashville Christian's defense lacking, but I believe the strongest suit for Nashville Christian's defense is that secondary, and that's what Fayetteville's going to. Typically, what Fayetteville does is try to throw the football a little bit more than they try to run the football. If they attempt to do that, I like the Nashville Christian to be able to turn them over once or twice and look for Jerry Curtis to do Jerry Curtis things.
Listen to this schedule for Fayetteville to start the year. These are their losses: Upperman, Moore County, Giles County, Marion County, Marshall County. That's brutal. If this game was last year, man, what a game it would be. Both these teams were so, no offense to either, they were so much better last year. Fayetteville graduated a ton of talent, as did Nashville Christian. I just think this game being on the road and the issues Nashville Christian's defense has had, Fayetteville's done well in non-brutal games. I think Fayetteville wins a really high-scoring contest, and for Nashville Christian, that hasn't been a good sign this year.
I kind of think that Nashville Christian bounces back after the loss to Columbia Academy. Had they won that game last week and we're going into this game on like a 4-game winning streak, I'd have had some questions about a potential trap. But it's time for a rebound, and I think that Nashville Christian is about to have one. And who better to lead that rebound than Jared Curtis? So I'm going with the Eagles. Kind of a hunch, but I'm going with the Eagles there. And 65.4% of the fans agree with this. So the battle lines are drawn there. 3 on Nashville Christian, 3 on Fayetteville.
Scott, we need to stop agreeing.
No prep at Rockville. And Cam and Reggie take the Rockets. The rest of us are on the Knights.
Yeah, their ability to the Stewart's Creek game is really what swayed me on this one. Their ability to slow down Otay and Kenny Jordan in that game. I know they turned them over a few times, but the ability to do that and the progress that Mayhew has made in the last couple of weeks, I just think the Rockets at home will slow down Elijah Robb enough to win a close one.
This was a hard game to pick for me. It was probably it might have been the hardest game to pick. So it came down to 2 things. First of all, I looked at Rockvale's offense, and last week, the first 2 touchdowns against Coffee County were a punt block and a fumble. That took them a while to get that offense rolling. I don't know if their offense is back to doing what it did earlier in the year. The other factor was Elijah Robb. I expect Pope to utilize him early and often, and throw just enough to keep Rockvale on their heels.
Yeah, that's exactly why I picked Pope. Scott, I know football's a team game, but Elijah Robb's going to be the best player on the field Friday night, and I see Pope using the ground game to their advantage, really controlling the clock, letting him do his thing, and I don't know if Rockvale's offense can do enough to really turn this into the ball game. I think it could be, but yeah, I think it's a low-scoring game that Pope pulls out because of Elijah.
Yeah, Scott, you kind of said it. Too slow of a start against a Coffee County team that they shouldn't be starting slow against, and they do that against Pope. They're going to fall behind quickly, and Elijah Robb will end it for them. And Rockville's been too inconsistent this year. You don't know which team's going to show up. I mean, they could be the team that beats Stewart's Creek and turns them over a bunch of times, or it could be the team that struggles against the Coffee County squad that barely has 40 points in the season. Just Jekyll and Hyde, and until I could see a little bit more from Rockville's consistency, I got to go against them. I'm going with the Knights. All right. That's not what we wanted right there.
Giving away the store, Chris.
Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Stewart's Creek at Smyrna. All right, Scott, you were on Smyrna this week along with the fans, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, honestly, this is a gut feel for me. I think Smyrna is actually playing better. I honestly, there are a couple strange losses on Stewart's Creek slate. A couple of close losses to Rockville and Antioch were head scratchers after beating Tullahoma, Blackman, Hillsborough. But see, the opposite's true. After that mass exodus of talent, it's taken Smyrna a little while to kind of find out their identity. And their identity is defense. They are still a really good defensive team, and they can turn you over. And I think the fact that Stewart's Creek has shown a propensity to turn the ball over, and Smyrna can take advantage, not only turn you over, but take advantage of it. Honestly, that's what kind of threw it over for me. I think this is a low-scoring game. I think Smyrna gets a couple of turnovers, and I look for that for the Bulldogs to win this one.
Yeah, this one was really tough because you don't want to look too far ahead to next week where you have that huge Smyrna Antioch matchup that could be for the region. But maybe Smyrna is. I know this is a rivalry game, and they have to win this game. I just think you look Stewart's Creek, probably they're more established. They have a lot more guys that have been in this spot. That Stewart's Creek knows this is a must-win game, as does Smyrna. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen, but give me Stewart's Creek in a really low-scoring game. Maybe they score late.
Yeah. So the way this region has played itself out with Stewart's Creek losing to Antioch and Smyrna still having to play Antioch, who doesn't love chaos, right? And that's
Me.
That's the reason I picked Stewart's Creek, because I want to see it. I want to see Stewart's Creek win this one, Smyrna win next week, and we have a three-way tie for the region championship. And that is chaos. So I went with Stewart's Creek. Kenny Jordan, what he's been able to do coming in as a transfer has really elevated that Stewart's Creek offense. When they've not turned the ball over, guys, they've been really good offensively. But if they can avoid turnovers against a really good Smyrna defense, I think they win this one.
Yeah, Scott, you said something interesting there, that the Antioch loss for Stewart's Creek was a head scratcher. We now know that's not the case. That's no longer a head scratcher the way Antioch has played in region play. Stewart's Creek is the better team here, I believe, especially on offense. But if they've never beaten Smyrna, they're 0-10 all time, and if doubt starts to creep in a little bit, this Smyrna defense can keep them in that ball game. You never know. But
Magic number for Stewart's Creek, 20. If you get it in the 20s, I like your chances.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I don't think Smyrna can get there, and that's why Stewart's Creek, I think, wins this game. 51.9% on Smyrna as well, so a very close vote, both the fans this week in that one. Charleston County and Monterey. Cam, you had a hard time with this one, and so did the fans. 50.6% of the fans on Charleston County, and the rest of them on Monterey, along with the rest of us.
Yeah, two teams that's been really inconsistent, and that's what made it so hard to pick. To be honest with you, if Charleston County is not dealing with the injury to their best player, I'll probably go Charleston County again. But what Cole Bowman has been able to do for Monterey this year, and really what they've been able to do up front as an offensive line unit, and them playing at home, that's a long road trip. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes for Charleston County. Not an easy place to play at all. And like I said, your best player, Cole Gregory, is down with a thumb injury. He's probably going to play, but at what ability is he going to play? And honestly, I'm kind of expecting, and maybe this would be the right move, But I'm kind of expecting if it is a borderline play or not play, they're probably going to side with not play because at the end of the day, they can afford to lose this one and get ready for Week 11 against Westmoreland in a must-win. So
I agree with you, Cam. I think that Cole Bowman is doing great things. I like their quarterback too, Colin Fowler, but I really like this Monterey defense in this game. Injury notwithstanding, but that doesn't help matters. I mean, honestly, I like what you said. Both teams are inconsistent, so both teams are consistently inconsistent. They're both similar in that factor. So, I looked at it and really I took the home team here. I think the game could go either way, but I just think with when you've got the best player with a hand injury and the other team's playing at home, I got to go that way.
Defense, defense, defense. Two teams offensively that have struggled a lot at times this year. I'll take the team at home in a low-scoring game. So give me Monterey.
Can't agree more, Joe. Like I said, 50.6% of the fans on Charleston County, but the rest of us have the Wildcats in this one. Same region, Westmoreland and Smith County. Not necessarily a must-win game for Westmoreland, but it wouldn't hurt them to maybe pull an upset here, but we're all taking the Owls here.
yeah, it's a bad matchup for Westmoreland. Westmoreland has been able to score some points as of late, but they've also given up a lot of points. And this Smith County offense has kind of found its stride. They know their identity is really what it comes down to. And if Westmoreland cannot find if they cannot establish Cooper White, which will be hard to do against the Smith County defense, I'm not sure Westmoreland scores very many in this one.
Yeah, what happens when a really good defense meets an exceptional defense in this game. Westmoreland is a scrappy speed defense. They pursue well, but I think that's all well and good until you can't score. And I honestly believe that they will struggle. I look for Javier Gaspar and Riley Lawler to be tasked with stopping Jacob Richardson, keep him in the pocket, keep him from breaking out. And then you're going to see Peyton Hicks locking down Cooper White. And I think those factors alone and Smith County's offense, like you said, Cam, is doing the right things right now and actually, increasing their output. They're actually matching what their defense can do, which is a very dangerous thing for opponents to face in this Owl team.
Yeah, and we went with Javier Gaspar as the Mr. Football guy for Smith County, but we could have easily went with Peyton Hicks as well. When you look at 67 tackles on defense, 19 receptions, 209 yards, 27 rushes, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. He's also the team's punter, 27 punts for a 40.4 yard average, which is anytime you're over 40 yards in high school, that's pretty good. 11 of those inside the 20. He also has 4 interceptions, 2 of those returned for touchdowns. So he is a pick six machine as well. So look out for number 10. He's one of those guys. I think I joked earlier in the season on the show. It feels like he's been in black and gold for like a decade now. So he's played since he was a freshman. So that's definitely somebody that Coach Dyer and the coaching staff can lean on.
I just think Smith County is a better team in this matchup. Simple as that. They're one of the favorites in 2A this year for good reason. This is a talented team. They've got a couple of really close losses. It's at Smith County. Not a lot of teams win there. Give me the Owls.
Yep. 81.5% of the fans on Smith County as well in this one. And all of us taking the Owls in this game. York Institute of Friendship Christian, this one of the most intriguing matchups of this week. York top ranked in 1A, and Friendship at home trying 2A. Thank you, Cam. Friendship trying to find its way back to the top of the heap there in Division II Single A. Let's break this one down. You're
the one who's with the fans. Why don't Why don't you let us know what you think about Friendship that takes them up over the top?
Well, the thing is this, and York's defensive line is pretty darn good. But here's the thing: you don't have to give Tyson Walcott the English Channel to run through. You just got to give him enough room. And that's
fair.
he's the best player on the field, and he'll find a way to make an impact somewhere, whether it's on offense or on defense. Ball's going to be in his hands one way or another, and I would trust him with it right now.
They're going against a York team that got started. I mean, they were kind of a surprise last year, right? Like they make it to the semifinals, and everybody's like, York. The Dragons are good. Miles LaFew at quarterback is both a dual threat. I mean, he can pass, he can run. I believe he leads the Dragons in rushing as well. 8 touchdowns. They got a loaded offense, but defensively is where they are stout. This is a really good defensive team that's only given up 45 points this year. Now you could say they haven't played the toughest schedule, which I wouldn't argue against that. I think Friendship, having played MTCS alone, is probably better than any team York's played, but they've started off the year shutting out Clay County 26-0. And they just beat Stone Memorial last week, so I guess I'm going back on what I just said. So give me York.
I'll allow it.
Give me York. I know it's a tough place to play. I agree. Tyson Walcott will probably be the best player on the field, but man, it's hard. It's hard not to argue that York's the best team in 2A right now.
Cam, we're the good news is that you and I may get out of there early because
Run.
both teams are going to want to run. Joe, you're right. Defensively, this team is outstanding. Blake Voiles leads the team, 57 tackles, 9 for loss. He has 2 sacks, a pick, and 2 forced fumbles. The team has 9 interceptions, 6.5 sacks, and 5 recovered fumbles, and they allow less than 8 points per game, and they have 3 shutouts. This is a defensive team. So I think that we're going to see both teams try to run the ball. And York, I think, has nearly 2,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, they're not. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
You know, York is not just totally an exceptional juggernaut on offense at all. Defensively, oh yeah, they are. They definitely deserve that number 1 ranking in 2A up to this point with what they've been able to do just defensively. That Stone Memorial game last week, Stone's lowest offensive output up to that season. And Stone Memorial is a 4A team. It plays in a pretty tough region. Their lowest output was 25 points, and York Institute held them to 7, and that was on the opening drive of the game. So they gave up an opening drive touchdown, and then they shut the Panthers down. And one thing that kind of led me to solidify my York pick here was, if you've not seen York offensively, they look a lot like Middle Tennessee Christian. A lot like Middle Tennessee Christian. So, as you said, Scott, this game's liable to be an hour and 45 minutes, and we're liable to be home by 9 o'clock. My wife would be okay with that, but I think it's very similar to that Middle Tennessee Christian game. 16-14, 22-20, something in that area. Really close game. Juggernaut, just hard fought. 3 yards in a cloud of dust from both teams. It's going to be fun to watch.
This could be the game where Tyson Walcott wins Mr. Football, though, if he pops off against that defense. I mean,
that is an excellent point.
Something else to consider here. It's a 2-hour bus ride from York Institute to Friendship Christian. You talk about a physical football game, bus ride can take a little bit out of you.
They'll just nap. It's fine.
Bus lag.
All right.
Is that a thing?
63% of the fans on Friendship Christian on this one as well. And let's go on to our spotlight game. Lebanon and Mount Juliet. These Wilson County rivals get after each other. I think only Hendersonville's played Mount Juliet more than Lebanon has. So long-time rivals.
Yeah, my buddy Joey over at Mount Juliet, he is Joey Cox is the defensive backs coach over at Mount Juliet, and he's going to hate me saying this, but I think Mount Juliet might be the quietest, really good football team in 6A. It's definitely between them and Clarksville. That's the only 2 teams that I can think of that are not being talked about as being a team that can make a run. And Mount Juliet is they're just extremely well built. I mean, you got really good offensive line play, really good defensive line play. I mentioned Atticus earlier in the show on the defensive line. John Michael Crudup at running back. And then you got Tyler Travers kind of just to bring it all together. I mean, they can run, they can throw. Just an extremely well-built team. They'll have to limit big plays for Lebanon, with the Crowell kid on special teams. And they try to run any kind of gadget play they can to get him in the open field and try to make guys miss. But I think they're good enough to do that. Big rivalry game. It's a great venue up there. One of the best places I've been to watch a game in Middle Tennessee as far as venue. I just like the Golden Bears to win. And honestly, I kind of think they win by a couple scores.
Not only is this a great rivalry game, this is a big revenge game. Lebanon beat Mount Juliet 27-6 last year, and a result that I still remember being like, man, really? That's what happened? Because I know both teams were good last year, but I mean, that's kind of a shocker. Mount Juliet, I agree with you, Cam. I think they have taken steps from last year where they had a really good team to now they're one of the best in 6A. There's no denying it. We have them ranked highly in our rankings for a reason. They're winning games. I know they've had a couple of close, ugly wins over Cane Ridge to start the year, Gallatin earlier in the year. But since that Gallatin game, man, they've cruised. They've been blowing teams out. They've been putting up a lot of points. I think Harrison Edwards is going to end up having a big game in this one alongside John Michael Crudup. And then Tyler Travers, he's just been dealing. So give me the Golden Bears, but I think it's a little closer than what the game was last year.
Well, I was at that game last year, and this has left a bad taste in the Golden Bears' mouth for a year now. And on top of winning the region, the one thing I think Mount Juliet and Coach Perry wanted to do was win Wilson County. And if you want to win Wilson County, you have to beat Lebanon. I think that Lebanon is a good team. I just think they're a little young in spots. I think that this is not the year for them. I think this is the year for Mount Juliet. I think that they are their offense, as Cam, as you said, they are balanced. They are a well-balanced team on both sides of the ball. And I think that that barring, like you said, some lightning plays out of Key Crowell, Mount Juliet should win this game.
Yeah. Lebanon has basically taken care of Mount Juliet the last 2 years. So a little bit of frustration that the Golden Bears are going to try to get some retribution for in this one. And we've got one more pick that needs to be taken care of here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull Reggie's pick and get that on the screen.
I'm nervous.
Why, Joe?
I don't trust the cat. I said I didn't trust the cat. There's a reason I don't trust the cat.
Hey, we're all right.
Oh, wait. He's indecisive. Oh, God. Oh,
That's
no.
his pick.
It's happening.
Yep. He took he was sniffing around and finally made his choice. The food was actually underneath those underneath the team. So
Yeah, you saw that, Joey. So if something happens and Lebanon wins, it's not my fault. It's not rat poison. It's Reggie's fault.
Someone call it cat poison.
70.4% of the fans also siding with the Golden Bears and Mount Juliet in this one too. Joe and you and I will be out there for that one, so it's ought to be an interesting night Friday night. Hopefully the rain will stay away.
Should be a lot of fun. Mount Juliet's one of my favorite places to go. So,
all right, let's recap real quick. Blackman, Riverdale. Reggie's got Blackman. The rest of us have the Warriors of Riverdale. Station camp across the board against Creekwood. Gallatin unanimous against Wilson Central. the fans are with myself and Cam on Nashville Christian, and then Scott, Joe, and Reggie at Fayetteville. Reggie's got Rockville, Cam's got Rockville, and the rest of us have Pope Prep. Scott's on Smyrna, so are the fans. The rest of us have Stewart's Creek. The fans have Trousdale County in a close one. Monterey is going with the rest of us, and then we're all in Smith County over Westmoreland. I've got Friendship Christian. The fans have Friendship Christian. The rest of y'all have York, and Reggie's taking Lebanon, and the rest of us have Mount Juliet. So even though it's a short slate, it's still some interesting games to pick this week.
Joe,
So,
The fact that a cat makes me nervous because he's gotten picked right this year and just made us look stupid.
maybe you ought to do a litmus test with Tater Tot.
I think I'm going to. Right now
So-
he's not, he's just doing his thing. So
I just got a question for you.
Mhm.
Which one makes you more nervous, Reggie or that Notre Dame offensive line?
oh,
Oh, shots fired.
how'd the Braves do tonight?
Oh, shots returned.
right back.
Hey, for fans watching, that's a little teaser. If maybe y'all would be interested in doing a Patreon, we would do some after the shows for you.
See me and Cam argue.
Yeah,
We could have a really good time.
it would not be boring. I can tell you that.
I drove to Louisville to watch that game, guys. Why?
Hey guys, real quick, Ron Carver has a question. Upperman White House.
Uppermen by as many as they want.
That game is at White House, so I won't say by as many as they want. I'll say Upperman by probably 2 or 3 scores. But that is a tough place to go play, and that is a long bus ride. So,
Give me Upperman
Yeah.
by a couple touchdowns. I think
I
they're
think
the second. I think they're the second best team in 4A right now, and I think they're.
I think it's
It's a-
close.
I think. Well,
Well, we saw White House go to overtime with a tough defensive team.
One
last
thing that I
last
think
week.
one thing I think Coach Kane will. The reason he makes a game like this, where they go a couple hours to White House, over a couple hours to White House, is because in the semifinals, if they make it, of course, they'll be going a couple hours the other direction this year and going to play Elizabethton or Greenville, and that's why he schedules a game like this. So, just a similar bus ride, but definitely like the Bees in that one.
I'm going to go 24-10 Upperman in that one.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good one.
35-10.
You want another one?
Yeah, let's
Sure.
do another one while we're here.
I think high
go.
school football anything can happen, but I just think Upperman's.
Yeah,
Upperman's
Caleb,
too
that's
good.
a good one right there. Just missed out on our top 10 games just because of the lack of the way Portland's already lost to Springfield, so they have a lot of ground to make up if they want to make the playoffs. And it's kind of uncertain on Mason Baker's injury as well. So I think he may be back for this one. If he's back, I like Hendersonville pretty comfortably. If he's not back, this one could get interesting.
I believe Portland has been eliminated from contention because they've already lost to Springfield and Beach, only 2 teams they could catch and wins. So they're done.
Yeah, I think that I like Hendersonville in this one. I would even if Mason doesn't play, I just think the line play for Hendersonville is a little bit much for what Portland. I think Portland's probably another year, maybe 2 away from really doing it. They're just, they got a new system, new coach, and they've got some young players, and it's just going to take some time.
Yeah, lost a huge senior class.
Yep.
Turn the ball over way too much for my liking. Give me, even if Mason Baker's not back, Hendersonville by 20 plus. I think the Commandos are still a pretty good team.
Hey, thanks for your questions, guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this may be something we add in at the end of the show.
That'd be all right. Yeah. All right. So, thanks for those questions, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get to one last word before we get out of here. Scott, why don't you lead us off this week?
Oh, great. Now, really, I just want to take time to thank our sponsors. We couldn't do We couldn't do this without them. Miracle Ford, Miracle Auto Group, and we're welcoming a new sponsor on board for some of our later in the year stuff with Python line sets. So welcome on board, Fifth Gear Technologies. Thank you so much. MTE, thank you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. We do appreciate you, and thank you for helping us spotlight some of the best players in the Midstate, and some of the best teams in the Midstate, and some of the best fans in the Midstate, and quite frankly, some of the best football in the South.
Yeah, no, I agree with Scott and everything there. Just talk about our social media presence. We're really boosting it up. Obviously, YouTube, we hit 1,000 a couple weeks ago. Instagram is what I'm really pushing right now. We're at 4,162. I'd like to get that to 5,000 by the time we get to Chattanooga. I think we got plenty of time. Tell your friends, share it, tag us, do all that fun stuff. You see a post, comment on it, be respectful. But yeah, have fun with Instagram. We're having fun, and make sure you tune in on Friday nights, because if there's a play at a game we're at, we'll post it on there. We'll post photos, all that fun stuff. So yeah, just help us grow that.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off a little bit of what Scott said. Huge thank you to all of our sponsors, but also if you're listening or would be interested, we still have openings, and we are open to talking about next year. If that's something that we need to do, you can just reach out to us via our email address. It's online on our website, and we can talk about things like that. But guys, it's a little cooler now. I had a cup of coffee on the Scoreboard Show Saturday when it was 55 degrees outside, and I haven't been to a game in a few weeks, so I'm super excited to get out to Friendship Friday night for my type of football game, a smash mouth run. Let's see who can run the football better type game, and our guys from the UCR will be there, so be nice to catch up with them. I'm just excited. We're a halfway point, but this is when it really starts getting good, because there's guys that's going to be playing their last downs of football of their life here over the next 3 weeks. So keep that in mind as fans, though, going forward. But man, just enjoy it. Go out. It's fall weather. Throw a hoodie on. Go watch a game and cheer. Be loud. Just don't holler at referees or holler at kids, because that's unacceptable.
Yep.
Hoodie. I like that. You said hoodie.
Well put. Well put. Thanks to all of you guys for hopping on with us on this Wednesday night. We appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all are the best, and we couldn't do this without you guys. So enjoy the week. Even though there's not that many games to go to, there are still some good ones. So make sure you get out to one. Get back here 9 o'clock Saturday morning for our scoreboard show. We'll have updates. We'll have scores, highlights, and interviews from those games. And same time here next week, because we like to be consistent. So for Joe, for Scott, for Cam, I'm Chris. We're out. Thank you all so much for hopping on with us this week, and we will see you next time.